I got two. Oh, he's muted. He's muted. Tash, you muted, you dumbass.
I know. I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it. Listen, there's always one tech issue. There's always one tech issue on the RGH podcast that we do every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. This is the RGH podcast with Mtashed, True Vanguard, and KackisHD.
Yo.
We talk about all sorts of gaming stuff, and there's some juicy topics today. Now, we've got a few over there. I think we're going to amend them a little bit because we just remembered that Stasis is in the game and might have ruined Trials of Osiris, question mark.
We'll mix them up a little bit,
So
but
we
it
might-
keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, it's going to keep you on your toes. You're going to be excited.
Yeah. Let's be honest, that like topics list has like not been incorrect. It's not been correct for weeks. We just get off topic and we just go out of order, and it's just whatever happens. You know what I'm saying?
That's why you come and watch. And that's why you got to be here every Wednesday so that you don't miss out, because there's always new drama. This week, surprisingly, there's no major Twitch drama. So this is actually going to be a first. If you guys have been getting a little bored of the Twitch talk, well, guess what? Now we're going to talk about some other stuff for once.
Twitch made it one whole week without something catastrophic. Dude, good for them, man.
Is this the Christmas miracle everyone's been talking about?
It is for Twitch, dude.
It has to be. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about Trials. Let's talk about Stasis. I know that there's some very heated kind of opinions on this. I know there's people like the Tash Man. I think Ryan too, not a big fan of Stasis in a lot of PvP. There's people saying that Stasis has absolutely crippled the game mode. I mean, there's people saying that it's crippled all of PvP, but with Trials of Osiris, with some of the choke points, it turns into a lot of ability spam, and the big one everyone's talking about is Shatter Dive.
Here's the thing, like you would think with new DLC, new subclasses, new weapons populating the playlist, you would think you would see a nice jump in participation with Trials as it comes back. You know, first time back, second weekend back, you would think you'd see some good numbers here. And the fact of the matter is we're not seeing good participation on behalf of the player base. In fact, I mean, just last week we had Bannerfall was the debut weekend of Trials since the new content came back, right? It's the debut weekend of Trials coming back. And the last time we had Bannerfall as the Trials map, we had over 30,000 more players participating than we did last weekend on Bannerfall.
I want to like to put this in perspective. Like, that's so insane. Because here's the thing. First of all, I'm going to open Audacity and press record. I forgot to do it.
Do you know what? Don't worry. He'll just take the audio from this. It's fine.
All right. Yeah. It's too late. All right. Here's the thing. People need to understand. A random Trials for Bannerfall in August. What was going on in August? Nothing. Dude. Literally nothing. There is no reason to play Trials in August other than like there is no real. Okay. There's nothing. Versus last week's Bannerfall. Literally adept weapons debut of adept weapons. The auto rifle isn't even that like it's not super meta, but it's not horrible. It's not like I guess
pretty good.
It's not like it's the scout rifle. The scout rifle no one would have cared. The auto rifle's like fine. And you get the adept targeting adjuster mod too, I think, which was a big deal.
Yeah.
And less people are playing that than a random one in August. And that's the thing. People need to understand, if you are sitting there and you're saying, I didn't see anything wrong with Trials, I don't see anything wrong with Stasis, you're in the massive minority. Like, that's the thing people need to realize. Like, it's not all about you. You know what I mean? It's about the health of the game. And if you see this much of a decline in numbers, there's something going on. Because the fact of the matter is that, you know, and I remember learning this like in university for like marketing classes. Most customers, when they're dissatisfied, they don't complain. They just don't come back. Right, like you're not going to hear a bunch of people bitching about Stasis unless they're like streamers and content creators like that. They're the people who are going to stick around no matter what. Of that. Most people who don't enjoy it just leave without saying anything, and they go and play Call of Duty or other games, right?
Yep. Do you want to know what my big gauge is? Like, my big gauge for knowing the popularity of a DLC or Destiny is if my cousin Dean is playing. I'm telling you, if my cousin Dean is playing, if he's hyped about it, I know that everyone else is hyped because he doesn't game that much, and he's played a lot of shooters from Halo, Call of Duty, and all that stuff. He's plays, Warzone and all that stuff. And when he's hyped about a DLC and he's like, "Yep, I can't wait to grind that," or he keeps grinding it, I know that probably the mass majority of people are. He quit after 2 weeks, a week and a half.
Yeah.
He was like, "Nope, I'm not doing it. I can't deal with the ice anymore." And the thing is he was a guy that played Halo, and he is more PvP focused. So I know that he's maybe a little bit more of a niche audience, right? People that are playing PvE probably love Stasis, but there's people like me that it has honestly killed the game. It has ruined the game. And
Dude,
when I got Shatter Dive for the 15th time in Trials, I almost summited my monitor. I was like, "This is." I don't want to get demonetized.
I feel you. No, I'm a PvE guy, right? So Stasis and PvE is fine. There's some cool combos. It's more kind of as I keep playing and as we play higher level content, like the Grandmasters came out, the more I kind of realize like it's like glorified ad clearing. In some cases a little bit better, but it's fine at PvE. I even think it's fine in sixes. If you're just playing sixes, you get frozen a few times.
No.
Okay, you disagree, but it's like it's not like it's the end of the world. But Trials, where it's each death matters so much, it just kind of puts everything under a microscope. And yeah, Shatter Dive on that map was absolutely oppressive. And I love when people say like, "Oh, just counter it." How, aside from not playing the game, how do you counter Shatter Dive? Dude, we were playing, we would see people rush at us. Like literally jump outside of, they would expect us to come in the corridors, but we wouldn't because we were like hanging back. They would jump outside, spam jump, throw it down and shatter, and the radius is so big sometimes we would still get caught, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
even though you were expecting it, anticipating it,
you'd literally wait for it to be like, this guy's going to Shatter Dive, and he would, and sometimes you'd be able to gun him down, but because you're looking at that, because the ice obscures your screen, his teammates would be coming in with 2 more Shatter Dives, because everyone's playing triple Revenant, because apparently micro penises have absolutely skyrocketed as a medical condition, and but honestly, dude, every single team was triple Revenant. If you got the first guy, you got 2 more guys right behind there. And in fairness to the Hunters, I will say, Hunters, we're putting you on blast because Shatter Dive was absolutely the main problem there. And there's no way it should have as big of a radius as it does, especially with the fragment.
And the cooldown. And the other part of that
no cooldown. Like, no cooldown. But the Hunters are going to say, well, what about the Titan slide ability? Bro, you guys are right. Like, it's all insane because at the end of the day, I saw like 3 light subclasses. I went floss a few times. I saw like 2 or 3 light subclasses the entire time.
I was one of them.
Yeah.
I popped my Dawn Blade, and then I got Shatter Dived and killed in 1 hit. And I said, "All right, I'm done. I'm done." That was the last card I played. I was like, I didn't even know you could do that. I had no idea you could even do that.
It's the super and super gameplay, especially. You have like no chance if you have a light super. Maybe Dawn Blade. If you're a really talented player, you know maneuverability,
and you play your height. Like if you play your height, you're okay.
You have to be like top 1% in the world with a Dawn Blade to make it work. Could you imagine running like Smash? Could you imagine running?
I tried. I tried playing Striker in a lobby in sixes against 6 Stasis. I could not get a single kill with my super unless I just popped. I like camped a corner and waited for someone to walk around the corner and then just did the activation.
Warlock melee can freeze you solid as in a super. It's like, okay, and then I'm just gonna shotgun you, or I'm gonna shoot you, or I'm gonna team shot you. It's so oppressive. Like,
and they nerfed Warlock. Like, imagine if it was the pre-nerf when Trials launched. Like,
Warlocks are,
people would be raging even more.
Warlocks are the weakest of the 3 in my opinion.
It sucks because these
not
are
at the start. Not when they first.
No, when it first came out, dude. The Warlock melee is like, it is almost a guaranteed kill melee. Like, Warlock mains don't want me talking about this, bro. I've been slipped a few 20s to like pretend this isn't a problem. But like, a Warlock melee is almost like if you hit them, they die. Like that.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, is what it is most of the time, and no other melee is even close that powerful.
Use Nova Bomb. Nova Bomb is hot garbage in comparison to Stasis.
Oh my god! Like, how?
It's not even close.
It's too easy to get out of it.
Bomb you.
The Nova Bomb AOE is so oddly small in this game. It's like,
dude, it's tiny.
Anyone can get out of it.
Just imagine it's like you're comparing Nova Bomb to Revenant Hunter, where it hits everyone in there is guaranteed dead, and then it starts roaming around the map for half an hour for the rest of the Trials round. dude, you're like fighting guys in the other corner of the map, and then suddenly you start to slow, and you're like, what is it? Oh, it's the Revenant
Tornado.
from last round, dude, coming to get me. It's so insane.
Well,
And I gotta say, I mean, I played sixes today for 7.5 hours straight on stream, and I was fed up by the end of hour number 1, and it was a chore for me. It was a chore for me, and I gotta tell you guys. And you say it might be fine at sixes. I strongly disagree, and the reason is because everybody knows at this point how much better Stasis is than everything else. So my lobbies, especially when you account for lobby balancing, I'm already fighting an uphill battle just because of the internal systems,
right.
the way that it divvies up teams. I'm already fighting an uphill battle, and now it's 5 to 6 Stasis opponents every match. I had one match today where I had 2 opponents on the other team with Stasis, and I was like dancing for joy because it was like finding a unicorn in 7.5 hours. I mean, that happened once. And that's not an exaggeration. That's not blowing up anything out of proportion. That is the reality that we find ourselves in. And here's where I'm at with it. Destiny was a game I fell in love with because of the variety that existed within it. I could run off meta stuff. I had the freedom to choose what I was going to do, these cool combinations. But right now, it is a game of abilities, specifically Stasis abilities. And it's been pigeonholed so hard that I don't see a fix for it other than Stasis gets removed or more OP stuff like Stasis gets introduced into it. And at that point, Destiny is going in a direction I can't go.
Right. Which is,
I mean,
like, honestly, that's insane. I feel like you've been one of the most popular and positive people in the community, and you've loved this game, and you've shown different ways of playing it. You've shown vertical space. You've shown all these ways and how sidearms can be used and how to counter shotguns and to use different builds. And you're like one of those guys. And then you're one of those guys right now that's like, I don't think I like this game. Like, I don't think I think this has ruined the game. And I am one of those people too. And it's like, holy shit. I spent 7 years playing Destiny. And I can't believe that the addition of the subclass that I was excited for, I think it's ruined the game for me. It's to the point where I don't think I can or want to play it ever again. Or like, not to the same capacity that I was. I don't know how I could bring myself to play long term and stream the game the way I used to because I dislike it that much.
Dude, I said it last time, people are willing to let the game die so they can get a couple of easy kills in a PvP game. It's like people know that they're crutching on it so hard. Like, you know, we talk about it like dusk field grenades. The fact that they suck you in, that make like what? Like, so if you throw them, the worse you throw them, the more it sucks you, and then so you get sucked all the way in and you have to escape. And it's like compared to every other grenade, like it's insane. Like a vortex grenade is an absolute joke compared to Dustfield, right?
Yeah. So one thing too is I feel like we've talked about like the balance of it quite a bit, but one thing I wanted to bring up because we kind of just glazed over it was the rewards. So there was the auto rifle and there's the targeting adjuster, and like no one's really chasing it. But here's the one thing I wanted to kind of bring up because I know you find out what's the best roles and what's the best snipers. I've looked at the weapons available, and even with the mods that are available, I don't feel like there's anything in Trials that's like game changer. Maybe shotgun with the masterwork, with the adept, like that helps a bit. But like if there was like a adept backup mag that made
there is. But like listen, you're kind of right, and that's the problem. There is some loot to chase. Like if you get an utter godroll shotgun, and then you get the adept mod for range, which adds plus 10 range, and you have the range masterwork. I mean, technically, that is just an already god roll, very good shotgun, like S tier shotgun in the kinetic slot, right? We're talking about that just gets 10 more range than before. So that's very meta. That's very good. But the problem is that you have to get the utter god roll, and that's I think the main thing is that, you know, dude, I didn't even get. My current Astral has like choke, and then quick draw and opening shot, and I have like light mag. I don't even have accurized, right? And I have like a handling masterwork, right? So I would rather have a range masterwork.
It's like 7 layers of RNG to try to get the god roll.
That's my normal Astral, dude. I've never even got a utter god roll normal Astro, and it's not like I'm playing Trials that, but like this weekend and the both weekends I really grinded. I turned in like probably 500 tokens or more, right? And in my entire lifetime, I've never got a God Roll Astral. So now you're telling me I've got to go flawless? I can't even get a normal God Roll one. Dude, I think a lot of people looked at the loot pools and went, field prep is spawning the Astral. Why is field prep dropping on the Adept Astral? It doesn't make sense.
Right.
And then they just say, screw it. Like, the chances of you going flawless, especially with Stasis being this toxic, and when you're in Stasis, right, makes every gunfight a coin flip. It's like, who gets their shadow dive off first? If your team does, you're going to win the round. If your other team does, they're going to win the round. It's not about skill. It's about just like luck of the draw for a lot of it, honestly. And unfortunately, like, it's not worth going all the way flawless to get a trash roll, which is like what you're likely going to get. You see a couple of people on Twitter posting their God rolls, but the sucky part is that you then have to go floss at another point, we don't even know when, to get the range masterwork, the range adept mod. We don't even know
when that is. And the other thing too is, like, if you go flawless 3 times, you only get one of the mods. So it's like, once you get the weapon, like, there's not as much incentive to go and try to get flawless 3 times in the weekend. But the population of trials, it was just like all sweaty people. Like, still, it was streamers, sweaty people, recovs.
Very few people, like earnest people, trying to go for it, and it's like, and just how toxic. Like, I don't think, there's maybe 2 LFG groups literally in the world were able to go floss. Like, the competition was insane because it's all recovs and streamers, because like no one wants to play trials. Like, and would you blame them? After getting out of there, True Vanguard, we played together. It was like, dude, no.
That's like you're shaking the dust off your sandals walking out of there. Like,
I'm like in bed angry, bro. I'm like sitting there like furious. It's in bed, like still thinking about how he could have maybe outplayed a shatter dive. It's just like so annoying.
Well, I think we've talked a lot about Destiny. Let's move on because you got some other big stuff.
Can I just say, importantly, I think you can still make some intelligent nerfs, have Stasis be powerful, but for God's sakes, at least have the other things competitive. And I think, like, stuff like removing the suck effect on Dustfield grenades, just making it so it adds.
Put it on Vortex. Put it on a Vortex.
Or
grenade.
putting it on the other grenades to even them out. Make it. You know what? The Warlocks got nerfed, and again, like, Warlocks are all salty because now compared to the other Stasis subclasses, they're not as good. But like, how long you get frozen by Warlock is actually pretty acceptable. It's still very dangerous, but you can get out of it. If you get frozen by a Dustfield, or you get frozen by an ice wall grenade, it's like game over. Make all freeze effects last as long as a Warlock freeze effect, right? It's like, why is the Warlock melee freeze effect last so much less? Like, just make it that standard across the board, because I feel like that's an appropriate time.
It's like just the most unsatisfying thing to play against and with.
Yeah.
I feel dirty getting kills with it, and when I get frozen, it's just like it's worse than Mountaintop. For me,
that's the thing that bothers me so much, is when people are like, stop whining about it, just adjust, use it, fight fire with fire. It's like, no, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. For me, it's unfun to play against. It's a really frustrating experience to play against, and it's not fun for me to play with either. It's very unsatisfying. So for me, I'm going to offer my feedback. I'm going to be critical. I'm going to be cynical. I'm going to be real about the way that it makes me feel. And if I'm in the minority, that's fine. I'll walk away and I'll let Destiny be something that everyone else wanted it to be. That's fine. As long as Destiny's growing, that's what I'm passionate about. But if it's not fun, it's not rewarding, then it's not for me. And that's the bottom line.
That's the thing. Like, there's so many kills. Dude, I got kills. Remember, I think we were playing the other TV where I got the Shuriken double kill to like win the round.
Yeah,
and it's like, and I was like,
how much work went into that?
What a joke, dude. I threw it at the guy. I intentionally threw it at the guy. It bounced and hit his teammate, who was crouching and hiding behind a box. His teammate did literally everything right, got out of the gunfight, went to safety to go heal up, and it doesn't matter because it auto-tracked onto his friend. It's like, it's so cheesy. And again, you have people who are like, oh, the dumb streamers. It's like, bro, we will use it and we will shit on you and you will hate the game in a month and you'll be saying we were right. Like, it's just that streamers and people who play the game have played for so long and have watched the evolution of the game. Like, we know this is not good for the game in the long run, because it, like, have you ever seen subclasses this dominant? Like, again, even in Taken King, when the new subclasses were added, there was some emergency nerfs to hammers, I remember, and it wasn't even close to anything like this.
because they were just like tankier than the other subclasses, and they could eat a headshot. That's pretty much what it was. Is they could eat a headshot.
But
from
even
a
then, you
sniper.
had a lot of people playing the original subclasses still. Like it was,
Oh, yeah.
it must be like 95% stasis in the Crucible. It must be.
Yeah.
I want to see.
That's
I want to see
insane.
their live numbers. Absolutely.
And I think that Bungie knows this, and they're literally like willing to let the game die a bit to sell a few more DLCs. Because again, if you're a free to play player and you go into, or you got if you go into Crucible, how do you not come out the other end saying, I need to buy a stasis? Like,
Yeah. It's like that overwhelming power that you feel like you're at a disadvantage. It's almost like pay to win at this point.
I mean, yeah. Bottom line, it is. You need to.
it's 100% pay to win. Like if you're a free to play player, you're up against full revenant stasis hunters, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done. Like unless you cloud strike them and 3-piece them at the beginning of every round, you're not gonna win.
Yeah, true.
Like unless you're a cool guy, you're not gonna win.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's talk about Cyberpunk. So, Cyberpunk shareholders are suing CD Projekt Red. Their share price before the launch of Cyberpunk, it was around the $110 mark. It went up to about $120 right before the launch, and within a week of launch, dropped to $70, almost half the share price in a week. Now, it has stayed extremely low, and now shareholders are saying that because of the botched launch, because of the way this was all dealt with the PR issues, with it getting pulled from PlayStation, shareholders don't understand how the launch went so bad. They feel like they were misled. You know, things got delayed a couple of different times, and people were worried then, but now the game is launched in a much worse state than the shareholders expected, and they're doing a big class action lawsuit against CD Projekt Red. That is actually insanity. This has been so. I mean, just with the bad PR and with the game being pulled from the PlayStation Store, like that's pretty unprecedented. We haven't seen that happen with the gaming company, and now they're getting sued. They're getting their share price almost halved. I mean, this is not company killing, but I feel like this is like one of the biggest blows to any gaming company out there ever.
Yeah, the hits just keep coming. The hits just keep coming for CD Projekt Red, and you know it feels bad, man. Like you don't love to see it. Certainly, we do like to make sure that quality standards are solidified for the consumer. We definitely want to make sure that moving forward, CD Projekt Red and other developers are going to know, hey, remember what happened with Cyberpunk, bro? We do not want that. Like, we got to make sure. And so that's sort of the silver lining of all of it. But man, it doesn't make this process any fun to watch, though.
It kind of is interesting. Like, it's so devastating for CD Projekt Red because like they just make a few games. They made The Witcher. Now this is the game, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Like EA, Madden 2021 this year like sucks, and like even EA really hardcore Madden fanboys are like not liking this year's Madden, right? Mm-hmm. So Madden sucks, or something like Anthem happens, and Anthem is a catastrophe. But the share price doesn't go down because they have so many other games. Yeah. Anthem may tank, but FIFA's selling like hotcakes already, right? They're putting out so much games. But CD Projekt Red, it's like this is the game. So they have one shot, and now that tanked, man.
And that's the thing is, if you're looking at the share price and what people are investing, right? They're expecting this is going to be the biggest game ever. It's going to sell $500 million, $1 billion. It's going to be the avatar of gaming, right?
Yeah.
And
it's going to rival GTA 5.
Exactly.
Right?
And instead, it got refunded. Instead, no one is going to get microtransactions. I don't think there's any in the game, but like there's no like continuation and no further revenue. And so anyone who's got a share there is like, what? I'm getting out. Yeah. Right. And so it's tanking. But you know, that's the crazy thing too, is there's probably a lot of employees there that have shares in the company. And so, you know, I feel bad for a lot of the developers that are working with this company for multiple years. Maybe they have a bunch of these shares. they've been working their ass off to get this game ready to go, and it's not necessarily their fault that it failed, but it got pushed out before it should have got pushed out. There were some really dumb decisions by upper management, and now everyone in the company is suffering. And I mean, it's just
the underhanded deed here was the fact that they like purposely did not show any console gameplay, really, right? And so, and yet it was in the PlayStation Store, Cyberpunk coming. It's got a big banner.
It was premeditated. Yeah,
but we never saw PlayStation 4 gameplay for a reason, because they knew it looked like trash. Now they're hoping they could like patch it out in time, right? But that's kind of the underhanded deed that's really getting them in a lot of trouble, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, even
if they
it's not
showed
just
gameplay and people saw that, it would be on the consumer. It's like, well, listen, buddy. Like, you may have thought they might, like, you know, they're gonna hopefully patch it and fix it eventually, but like, you know, you saw what you saw.
They've been so vocal about like, hey, we want to wait till it's ready. If they literally would have said, I know that it's like sounds terrible. Like, why would a company ever say this? But if they just said, the old gen systems aren't ready, you can get it, but like, it is not ready if you want to refund at any time. All of that PR though, all the negative press that they got, it wouldn't be there. Yeah, they might get less sales, but they have screwed themselves so far. It's honestly better to be honest in this situation.
Absolutely.
They got greedy. They got greedy, and now not only are the sales of this game worse, but now when the next Witcher comes out or the next game they make, people are going to be like, we'll see.
I don't trust it.
I don't trust you.
Let's wait.
It's also like, them.
It's the whatever marketing firm they hired. I'm sure there's like, obviously they worked with them internally, but it was all in the marketing. Because I'm sure if you're a dev trying to debug the darn game, it's not up to you whether they show PlayStation 4 footage or not, right?
Right.
So that's the sad thing, is like most of again, and we've all played it and we all agree that like behind all the glitches, it's like a solid game.
There's something good there, yeah.
And I think they're going to recoup a decent amount of money. I think they're kind of screwed because all these speculators were speculating, and you know, maybe it wasn't meant to be the best game of all time, but down the line when they finally get on top of everything, and that they're also apparently releasing some free DLC. They're releasing some new content for the people who are sticking with the game. And so that's sweet. And again, like down the line in 6 months from now or 8 months from now, when they have some patches out and some new content, and then it's part of a Steam sale for, 40% off, I think people are going to be happy with the game.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think it is important, real quick. I think it is important, not just, we do need to be honest though, that it's not just about bugs and crashes. That is a big part of it, but the game itself really is a shell of what it could have been and should have been. In terms of the promises that they made up front and then what they delivered with, even things like building relationships in the game is severely limited. Your romance options, severely limited.
Mm-hmm.
Even things like the pacing of the game is really off. What's going to happen is, and this doesn't make a lot of sense for an RPG like this, big open world RPG. What's going to happen is by the time that you finish all there is to do, I'm not just talking about the main campaign. I'm talking completing everything on the map, doing all the side quests, everything. Like, you're going to get to this point where just before you finish the game, you have a cracked build and you've just started to get all the cosmetics you want to make your character, look the way you want him to look, to have the build with the exact weapons and rolls and things that you want him to have. By the time you get to that point, the game's basically done. And so you spend all this time getting a cracked out character with a cracked out build, but you ran out of content. And it's almost like things had to have been taken out, because that just doesn't make sense. You need to be able to use this stuff in the content. But when you clear the map, guess what? Stuff doesn't come back. Every now and then these little like stop a crime in progress things will pop up. But they're over in, I kid you not, when you get a cracked out build, those things are over in 15 seconds. I walk in there with a blade, 15 seconds later, it's done. This is nothing. You run out of stuff to do.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I've also heard that like any build is cracked out with even a little bit of specking into it. It's like, you want to go guns, you want to go melee, you want to do whatever. It's like, just get a few perks for it, get like an okay weapon, and you're just going to be slaying everything.
Well,
the difficulty... Good.
Well, I was going to say, I have a pistol build. I literally one hit everything. Because when you crouch, you get crit chance and you get bonus multiplier on the headshot. And so I just crouch in a room and I headshot someone. And then when you hit someone, you get like crit again for like engaging. And so I just crit. Always, like every shot's a crit and everything dies. And I'm like, okay, well.
It's disappointing because There are a couple of activities, a couple of encounters that are going to really challenge you, but they're very limited. And so it's this weird dichotomy of you're going through with your cracked build and just one hitting everything, one hitting everything, one hitting everything. Then you walk into this side quest or this cyber psycho encounter, and suddenly it's like, oh, this is hard. Oh, I actually have to try and think about what I'm going to do. Maybe I need to go buy a certain mod or an upgrade. You do that, you get through with it, and then you're back to one hit, one hit, one hit. And so the pacing of the game is just way off.
There's also like, I remember people are all making fun of it. There's a perk they recently found there's a perk where you like can't be detected underwater. And everyone's like, can you think of a more useless perk? Because like there's like no quests or anything where you're underwater really. So you have this perk that doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, and then there's these consumables that help you breathe underwater. And it's like,
it's like no one's going under. And that's to your point. Maybe they cut some stuff. Maybe there's like some underwater area they had to cut, and they didn't have time to cut the perk, right?
Yeah. And so the DLC's got to be free because, quite frankly, it's going to be trying to fill in the gaps, the stuff that got left out. And another one of the things that was really disappointing was the origin stories. You think of a game. What games have done origin stories really well? I think of actually, ironically enough, Dragon Age Origins has when you create a character, you pick your origin story, and it's a nice little grind of a little quest line you have to do to start the game in a very unique way, and it completely changes the tone of your character, the motivation of your character. Some end game dialogue that you're going to have is dramatically different based on your origin story. In Cyberpunk, you're thinking, okay, I get to pick my origin story. You know, where do I start from? And you're done with it in 15 minutes, and it literally has no like. You get these dialogue options every now and then that give you extra insight because of your origin, but it's basically negligible. And so if that had more of an impact on the relationships that you could have in the game, if it had more of an impact on the way that you play, that your character's motivation, then I might be inclined to do multiple playthroughs. But I literally started a second character, so I was like, oh, I want to try the origin story. 15 minutes later, I'm back to basically the exact same game, cookie cutter, that I was with my main character. I was like, and then I stopped playing that character because I had nothing to, I was just doing the same stuff.
Yeah. Tinfoil hat time, maybe. So there's a new DLC coming out? There's a new DLC coming out, or is it this is the rest of the content? This is the underwater area that you would even need these perks.
And they had to cut from the game last minute? Could be, dude.
Right? I mean, who knows? The only thing is we did talk about Witcher, and like the DLC they brought was fire. Like the Witcher 3 DLC is insanity, very good value.
Blood and Wine is like you could pay $70 for that for Blood and Wine alone, and it would be justified.
No, exactly. And so like maybe they nail it, and maybe it does salvage the game, and that's good. I want Cyberpunk to be good. I want to finish it. I haven't finished it yet. You know, I want to dive in when it's ready and really enjoy it. So that's good. But speaking of games. There are some rumblings and there are some rumors.
Speaking of games, Tash, you're going to want to have, you're going to want to be hitting your shots when you're playing these games, dude. You're going to want to be energized when you're playing these games, if you know what I am saying.
So what you're saying is you should check out Advanced GG. This is our one and only sponsor because they make an amazing product called Focus. If you go to advanced.gg right now and use code RGH, you can get 10% off your Focus right now. There's tons of great flavors, and it is clinically proven to improve your cognitive focus while gaming, studying, and doing any other tasks like that. Advanced.gg, use code RGH, support the podcast. We got to get those Gucci slides for Ryan. Okay? We got it. We're
gonna get him a Gucci little Tico's a cup warmer so he can drink his with his little Gucci,
like a little tumbler sleeve,
dude. Or I wonder if they sell like a Gucci like ice press. You can get those really fancy ice presses where it makes like the perfectly spherical piece of ice.
I have spherical molds.
Well, why don't you bring me over to enjoy that?
Why isn't there?
You never come over.
All right.
Why isn't there perfectly spherical ice in your drinks then?
Well, because when I'm drinking on the show, I do like this is a 15-year Scotch. This is Dalmore 15. You want me to put ice?
You're not gonna water it down. You're not gonna water it down. Jeez.
Yeah, you hear this, man? Wow. Put ice in.
Perfect timing, baby.
I've got some water. Okay, so talking about games,
Yeah.
Xbox Game Pass, there is a rumor that Uplay is going to get added to it. Now, if that's Uplay, that's a lot of games. That is a lot of games. So essentially, if you had access to Xbox Game Pass, you would have access to all the Uplay games. If I'm seeing that right,
If it's true, yeah.
if that's true, that would be incredible. And at that point, Xbox Game Pass is the biggest no-brainer in gaming. Honestly,
TV. Cheers, buddy.
oh, come on, get the hell out of here.
Oh yeah, have fun with your water, you nerd.
Listen, I'm here talking about gaming. This is important. If this is true, why would you even have Steam or any of these other things? You would just get Xbox Game Pass and enjoy all those games. You'll never be able to finish all those games.
So I actually recently convinced a couple friends to get Game Pass, and we were just downloading all these fun. We downloaded Golf with Friends, and we're playing last night. We downloading. It's like you have a whim of oh, this looks kind of fun, right? I was looking at the Steam sale, at the Steam Winter Sale, and not even a word of a lie, I'm just recognizing all these games that are on Game Pass. The Deep Assault Galactic or whatever. Or
Deep Rock
Galactic with the dwarves, yeah.
On Game Pass. Dead by Daylight on Game Pass. All these games, and then also you get access to EA Play. Now, that's a little weird. I thought just the EA games would end up on Game Pass. I think they're coming at some point. I think if you buy the deluxe edition, you just get access to EA Play, so you still have to have Origin, but I know that they're getting rid of Origin at some point. So but a lot of games on Steam right now, they're on sale, old Battlefields, Mass Effects, all that stuff as part of EA Play, and that's already coming over too. It really is going to be the Netflix of gaming, where it's the one-stop shop. Now, maybe some more things will open up later, but it's really going to be Game Pass versus Steam at this point. And just the subscription service, right now, I swear, I sound like an Xbox sponsored that podcast. Shill for you enough already. Now, honestly, right now, there's a deal where you get 3 months of the premium version or whatever, which comes with Xbox Live, and then you get the cross combat for $1. It's $1 per month or something for 3 months. So again, my friends, I'm that got it. They literally all just click the don't auto renew thing. So they got 3 months for $1.
Right.
I'm
and think of how many people, if a million people do that, if 10 million people do that, it's such easy revenue for them. And if they enjoy that service, they're gonna be doing it.
They're good, and a lot of people
from that is gonna be sanity.
Renew.
Yeah, they said that they had a long time ago. They said they had 10 million users. I don't know what it'd be now. I'm gonna see if I can find out how many.
I'd be curious.
15 million. I heard it was 15 million not too long ago.
Well, they got a new one this week because our Christmas gift to my father-in-law, because he really likes Forza, right? And he plays on my old Xbox One. We got him a Game Pass and Xbox Live membership for a year. And so we hooked him up with it, and he's sitting there on the couch. He's like, oh, by the time we left the house, he had 8 games in his queue that he was going to try. Yeah. And then my mother-in-law told me today, she's like, oh, he's been playing that all morning. He's sitting there playing because he's really into racing games. He's in his 50s. Yeah. And now he's playing the F1 games. He's playing all Forza Horizons. He's playing even some FIFA and all that stuff. He got a lot of games, and now he's sitting there hooked, and he's 55-year-old gamer sitting on his couch diving into Game Pass,
starting up his channel.
And he wouldn't have done that otherwise, right?
Assassin's Creeds and For Honor, Rainbow's it makes total sense because the older Assassin's Creeds and stuff, I doubt they're gonna put even Odyssey on there, maybe Origins, but the older ones Black Flag. Their revenue there is almost nothing, so they probably got a big chunk of revenue to license it to Xbox to put it on Game Pass, right? And then you've got games like Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege is the perfect game. They have free weekends all the time. It's super monetized in terms of just the cosmetics, but the gameplay isn't. So they're probably gonna have a huge jump of players. I would be very surprised if I didn't see stuff like Rainbow Six on Game Pass. Then, of course, you have the old Rainbow Sixes, and Ubisoft has a ton of older games that would be sweet on there. And honestly, dude, what if Destiny 2 Game Pass. Division 2 plus the Warlords, they'd probably get a huge amount of people because Division 2 right now is doing like a seasonal content similar to Destiny where you can like buy seasons and they have
It's like
cosmetics.
a hobbyist game, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to get a ton of revenue just from a massive influx of players. It's actually, Division 2 is in a pretty decent state right now, honestly.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent game.
Yeah. You kind of mentioned that you're kind of getting back hooked.
It stopped when Beyond Light came out, but
right. And what's funny is there was a bunch of people in chat today talking about Division, and they're like, "Hey, did you play?" Because I was talking about Division and just other games I played. And they're like, "Oh, have you played the new stuff?" And they were just going on about, "Oh, I love the new stuff. The new raid is good," and they were just going on and on. I was kind of chatting with them. I was like, "Shit, maybe like Kackis just said it was good. You guys are saying it's good. Maybe I need to go log in and just kind of putz around and check it out for a bit."
Mm-hmm.
It's actually fun. It just sucks from a content creator's perspective. Like you're not going to make content on it.
Yeah.
So it's just hard to justify. But like playing in the background a little bit, like it's a solid game. If they ever come out with another main expansion, I definitely would like hop back in and see what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. I feel like Division was not dead on arrival, but I feel like it really fell off fast. And I don't know the exact reason, but
because it was just too annoying and grindy. Like it was just there's too many stats. When me and you got to play like Warlords early, and one of the things they simplified a lot of things, and right they had like the bars, and it told you like every weapon only had 2 stats, right, or 2 or 3 stats. So you'd be like you get an SMG that would roll with SMG damage, and then like damage to target out of cover, and then like armor damage, or instead of armor damage, it would be like increased range, and obviously you'd want to reroll increased range. They had that reroll system where you could reroll 1 stat. So it's like, oh, this one has everything. 1 away from the god roll, you can make it a god roll. And it has that bar, so it showed you like it has max SMG damage, and you can take the stats off of weapons, right? So if you got an SMG that had max SMG damage, but everything else was trash, you could take max SMG damage and store it. So when you got another SMG that had everything except for SMG max damage, you put that,
swap it on.
Fantastic idea, because it still makes you want to grind. It just makes it like less annoying. It gives you a little bit of control over the BS RNG.
Imagine, dude. Just imagine. I'm sitting here farming my butt off, doing stuff I don't like to do in Destiny so that I can get a God Roll Glacier class. Imagine if I get one to drop and it's like, it's got a terrible stats, but it's got surplus on it. I'm like, dude, I'm going to dismantle this, but I'm going to bank surplus. Yeah. And then I get one that drops with high impact reserves. I'm like, dude. And I swap surplus onto it. Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
How dope would that be?
That would be dope.
Game companies think that like when you get stuff, you're going to quit. And I was ranting about this today about Genshin, is they've got this stupid energy system and you can only really make progress when you have energy. And it's like, I'm not going to quit the game because like if you just get rid of that energy and I can grind as much as I want. I'm not going to quit the game because I beat it, because I have 25 characters in Genshin and I can't even touch half of them. It's impossible to spend any time on them because you just don't have the resources. If you gave me the time to grind them from level 1 to level 90, get a weapon from level 1 to 90, all their talents, we're talking about 30, 40, 50 hours per character. Are you telling me I'm going to spend 1,000 hours on Genshin? And like that's if you uncapped me. And you know, there's so many games like that where it's like they have layer on layer on layer on layer of RNG. So you're chasing for these really cool weapons. And a lot of the time, that's the big thing too, is you spend so much time chasing for these weapons because it's so hard to get them. When Division launched the custom P416 or whatever the hell it was, that was like the best assault rifle. And if you had a good one, the only way to get an upgrade was to get that assault rifle, but better, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like you're spending all this time hunting for that exact thing, but then what are you going to use it on? And that's the other problem too. All these games, they have layer on layer of RNG. It's so hard to get the stuff, but then they don't have anything to use it on once you get it. You know?
Thankfully, Division does now.
Now they've got some raids.
Pretty hardcore. There's two raids. Unless they added a brand new one. I think there's a new one coming out in like the spring. Anyways, and they have like the legendary difficulty and stuff like that. They have like that new like tower you climb. Like that's all good.
And
or
whatever.
And Destiny, like when you're doing that hard content, like Destiny, I feel like needs to be more forgiving. And I feel like the raid is a good example. The raid where you go in, right? All the loot is good. It's like stats wise, it's just good stats all around. The perk pools aren't super inflated. Like the problem with the Glacial Chasm is that, you know, it can spawn, it has like 20 perks in each tier. And it's like, I don't want this, right? Where you need a more limited loot pool of good perks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the chest at the end of the raid where you can spend your spoils. So it's like I'm chasing a certain weapon, I can go after it. Whereas the opposite end of the spectrum is trials. It's like, hey, we got a different weapon every. You know what? Why is there a rotating weapon? Why can't you just choose? I want the auto rifle. I want the shotgun. I want the sniper.
Oh, just
like,
do the raid chest for
for
trials.
for trials, exactly. It's like
they've got the system built already. Like, just do that.
you're gonna have a
that's right.
weekend. You're gonna have a weekend for the scout rifle, and the already dwindling population is gonna go to zero. Like no one
Yeah.
gives a crap about that stupid scout rifle. Like no one wants it. I don't know. Like in some ways, Destiny's making strides. In the best way is that raid, and I think the reason they actually did something innovative for that raid in the loot table is because it's gonna be the raid for the entire year. Except for the Vaulted Glass, but that's a returning raid, right? Because we only get like a few raids, one raid a year, really. So they had to do something because otherwise it would be like so toxic, right? So yeah, it's a good point. Well, we got to go off topic, but Destiny's innovating its loot a little bit here too.
So now let's
We should
jump
probably
on.
go ahead and move on.
Yeah, XQC got suspended on Twitter for a old Twitch clip, and a year-old clip that he posted because it had DMCA music in it. It doesn't
It's
matter
10
where you are.
seconds.
It's 10
It's a
seconds
10
long
second clip
Yep.
from a year ago.
with a little
And
background
it's
music in
from
it
his own stream.
from his own stream, and it's like they're trying to make DMCA illegal. Like they're literally trying to put it in that bill, or I think it actually like might have passed, or maybe it got vetoed. I don't know, but they're trying to make DMCA stuff so risky. You're gonna get banned or flagged on any platform that you're using it on right now.
You might face some.
And now you
Fines?
you might face legal trouble. It's crazy. They have so much insane control. The DMCA is insane. No one is coming to my stream or this podcast to listen to the music in the background while I'm talking. And they're like, oh yeah, this is where I come to listen to Rihanna. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's truly insane, and it's only hurting them because it's like, again, yeah, the music industry, it should be fighting against DMCA claims because, like, again, you're motivated to buy, yo, that song's fire. What is that song? Right? Now no one's playing any music.
Yeah,
I swear they're probably going to see a dip in sales. They're going to be like, oh, crap.
You're not
From
listening
what
to
I've seen-
Eminem or Rihanna or any Taylor Swift or anything on my stream. I'm never promoting that stuff. I would have. Like,
And from what I've seen, the majority of artists are like, oh, I love it. I'm honored when I see, I've even seen like clips of artists saying this on Twitter. They're like, listen, I get excited when I hear somebody's playing my music in front of their, that's really cool to me, But it's the labels, it's the record labels that are getting really greedy about it, saying like, no, that's ours, you can't. And I think this XQC thing that we made it a topic, it's not that it was a huge deal. I mean, honestly, all he had to do was just review. It forced him to review their terms, and then his suspension was lifted. It wasn't a huge deal, but the thing is,
Shows that you're not safe anywhere.
the thing that's crazy about it is there's no statute of limitations, right? So it could be a mistake that you made years ago in a 10-second clip or less, could come back to bite you in the butt. And I think there needs to be some limitations here where, okay, we're starting to understand as streamers that the risks that are involved here, or maybe you have a situation where, listen, I didn't know any better 2 years ago when I was trying to just get my stream off the ground and I played a copyrighted song in the background. I didn't even know, or maybe my Spotify was on the wrong playlist and I wasn't aware of it. You know what I'm saying? And you made a mistake and you moved on from it. But then as this becomes a more serious issue years down the road, they're going to retroactively go back and hunt you down for something that happened way before all of this stuff was even on your mind. Because right now we're all paranoid about it, right? Okay, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to be one of those guys that gets in trouble. But a year ago, it wasn't on my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's kind of shocking that like Amazon and Microsoft and Sony aren't like fighting DMCA, because if they got DMCA changed or repealed or something, it's only beneficial. It's only beneficial. Like people should realize like using copyrighted content for the sake of entertainment and not providing a way to like illegally download it.
Mm-hmm.
It's only going to help. It's only going to get more views.
well, think about it. So like, like there's always like, there's so many songs, and I know that they use it in movies. I know that they get the licensing to use it in movies, right? Because a song can make a scene in a movie. It can make it better. It can make it more emotional. There is probably so many hilarious clips or moments in YouTube videos that don't get made because it's like, yeah, but I can't use that song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if there
Yeah.
was more opportunity to be creative with it, it'd be good. But think of the massive amount of funny moments or epic moments or interesting moments that are Twitch clips that have just been deleted because of DMCA that could have been shared to Twitter and they could have got ad revenue. You know, Twitter could have got ad revenue. It could have been uploaded to YouTube and, you know, got some ad revenue there or something. There'd be so many ways to monetize this. And like, even if you gave a piece, like if I use your copyright music and you get 15% or something like that, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
If I could just like license it in YouTube or on Twitch and just give them some of the proceeds, I'll do that. But there's so many ways that you can't be creative because you're just going to get in trouble for using it. Like music as a medium is essentially dead for content creators right now. It's a risk. It is a complete risk. I won't even touch it. And we already talked about it too. Is like, oh, we'll just license your music. Well, some people have. I know. I think Ryan. I think you said you paid for music, and then the guy was like, "Oh, by the way, now it's copyright." And
Yeah,
it's like,
so I've
and
had
it's
this
like, what
before.
the-
Where, yeah, so I had this before where I literally go to the right place.
Yeah.
I look for music that I like, and I find a track I like. I pay the artist for a licensing fee, right? I pay his fee. I get his track, and I use it on my YouTube video, and then it gets claimed. And then during that time, right? This was back before that YouTube had this system where it would just sort of like set the ad revenue to the side, and then if you proved that it was yours, then it would give it to. This was before that system, as far as I know. This was years ago when I did my 50K montage on back in D1, and I paid for the licensing fee and everything. And then the artist decided suddenly, like, no, I don't really want it out there. He wasn't targeting me specifically, but he changed his position on that track specifically, and then turned it on YouTube as an artist that it could be flagged and let him know, and he would get ad revenue if it was used. And so then I had to like do this back and forth with him, but there were over 100,000 views during that back and forth time that I didn't get any ad revenue for.
Yeah.
And he did. He, you know, it's crazy.
It's infuriating.
Yeah,
They have
back
so
in the
much
Wild West
control.
of YouTube, you'd have random companies that didn't even own the music that would just make claims to get the ad revenue. It was super scummy. So thankfully,
And then good luck tracking
Yeah.
it down. Good luck
You
shutting
can't get it
down.
back. All right.
No.
yeah. So they kind of changed that. Thank goodness. But
Maybe toxic content creators deserved it because a lot of creators are getting heat for being extremely toxic. Now, you're looking at that last topic there and you're thinking, what did these toxic content creators do? Well, they did the
Horrible.
heinous, they did the disgusting, they did the, honestly, in my opinion, bannable offense of defending themselves. What?
Huh?
There was a bunch of drama. There's drama on Twitter. People were replying to, well, we saw Sarah Daniels' post, but someone comes in your Twitch stream and they call you an idiot and you say, no, you're an idiot. And then the whole chat goes, whoa, why are you being so rude to this guy? Like, why are you attacking this viewer? The guy just called me an idiot. Well, you can't say it back. There is this weird stigma that you just have to be nice to everyone if you're a content creator. And Sarah Daniels kind of brought it up. And then people were roasting her about it too a little bit. They're just like, well, actually, you need to have thicker skin.
And there's even like this situation with Ninja where he's playing Valorant live on stream in a ranked match, and there's this guy in his game chat, right, that's on his team, who's just completely feeding, and he's just like being real toxic, like, you're the reason we're losing it. And he retaliates to him, and he goes on this like tirade where he's like, I'm gonna meme on this guy, and he starts roasting the guy, and he gets lit up for it. People are like, Ninja, you're being so toxic. This is like Toxic Ninja from years ago, those old clips that resurfaced. This is the same guy. We don't like this look on you, know? And she's just him responding to somebody who was being toxic to him. And we have seen this. I mean, the three of us, I'm sure, all have our stories. I know I have one in particular. I remember where a guy, I just posted a picture on my social media on Twitter of that my wife had taken of me and my son. I was getting him ready for daycare. This was years ago, and he and I were both just laughing. I don't even remember what we were laughing about, but we were just goofing off and laughing. And she took a picture of the moment. And I thought it was cute. I posted it on Twitter, and the responses were all pretty positive, except for this one guy who, using slang terms, said, "Why does your son look like he's mentally handicapped?" He's using slang terms for it, and it was just a really just I honestly, it did not sit well with me. I was angry. I mean, as a father, when someone steals the joy out of a joyful moment that really made my day, and make that statement about my son, I was pissed. It ate at me for a
It's
while.
just so unnecessary. Like, even if, like, I just want to say, even if your son was, it's like, so is he like smiling in this picture? It's like,
Yeah.
it's just like, why do you need to why do you need to go out of your way to be an ass?
And so I quote tweeted it. Yeah, I quote tweeted it. And I just said, why do people have to be like this? You know? And the guy got lit up. I mean, he got absolutely lit up on Twitter. Now, I did not sick my community after him. I wasn't being toxic to him, but I had some people who were like, you don't need to bring attention to it. You don't need to like throw it back at him. You take the high road here. And then this guy even then went and made a new Twitter account. He deleted that one.
Because he got
And
so
later that day, because he got so roasted, he made a new Twitter account and then reached out to me and was like fishing for an apology. He was like, man, when you did that, man, I had to delete my whole Twitter. I was getting harassed so much. My fault. I had over 300 followers on that account, and now it's gone. And he was like fishing for apology. It's like, what do you want me to say? You want me to say I'm sorry? Because I'm not. I'm not sorry that you decided to be a complete jerk. And that's not on me. You don't put that on me.
I had a recent interaction with that because I actually posted a tweet and I was like, literally, I was like, are these even real people? Because they follow the same formula, which is like being an ass.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah,
called out for being an ass, say it was just a joke, bro, and then be like, and then turn it on you, being like, oh, it's your fault because you have normal human emotions and you should just toughen up and let people roast you. Because I got this guy comes in and it's like,
sorry,
yeah.
I was laughing while drinking whiskey because you're saying.
It's like I made a video I went over because Vault of Glass is coming back, and Bungie recently confirmed. They said we are bringing back the Vault of. It wouldn't be Vault of Glass at the Vault of Glass weapons, right? So we're bringing them back, and the D2 Fatebringer should feel like the D1 Fatebringer. It won't be identical, but it'll be very close. So I was like, I'm gonna go back into D1 because I'm an OG. And I actually play the game, so I have all the Vault of Glass weapons.
Right.
So I went back and I went over all of them. So it's like, because so many people weren't playing during D1 or didn't get all the weapons, timestamped the video like, this is the prettiest timepiece. This is the Fatebringer. And it went over all of the different loot, so you know what's coming. Oh, I thought it was a cool video, right? This guy's in the chat being like, typical Rick Kackis turned a three sentences into 10 minutes worth of content. And I'm just like, it's like the 3 sentences just confirmed this was happening. The content is going back at all the different Vault of Glass weapons, which it took me months and months and years to get. And and it's just like one of those things where it's like, of course you're gonna come in there and say that. And then I was like, dude, like, it's not about the sentence of going over all these weapons. And it's like, oh, well, dude, it's just a joke. And of course, it's like very backhand. It's like, it's just a joke.
We're just joking, bro.
Smart enough to know that. It's like, I see what you're doing. And then he gets all defensive. It's like, oh, you're sending your people after me. It's like, I'm not sending anyone after you. I'm just calling you. I'm just calling what I see. And it's very annoying when it's like, I'm just making content on YouTube. I'm not Mother Teresa. Nowhere did I say I'm Mother Teresa. I can be an asshole if I want to. And if someone's being an asshole to me, I can be an asshole back. Like, get used to it.
And the thing I don't get is it's like you make free content for people. It's not like they went to the movie and they paid $50 and then they hated it. It didn't even cost you anything. You just showed up. Why do you hate it? Why do you hate it? Why do you hate the creator that bad that you would try to ruin their day? Just leave. They didn't shank your wife. They I don't understand what the
it's optional to watch content, and as long as you're not being like misled, like Arms Week, the 40,000 Arms Week videos that never happened, right? And everyone's okay with those. But I talk about 6 weapons for over 10 minutes, and people lose their goddamn minds. And it's like, dude, just don't watch a video if you're that upset that me talking about an entire group of weapons for more than 5 minutes. You don't have to watch. Avoid my content. It's not that hard to do.
The best one though. Okay, go.
Good. I was gonna say, one of the things that people have to remember is that you see the moments when content creators respond to trolls, and you call them out, and you retaliate, and you say something, you clap back, right? And you see those, but what you don't see is the hundred, and I mean this literally as a content creator, and you guys can testify. You don't see the hundreds and hundreds of times where you say nothing, and so a lot of times when people are like, "Man, you got to just let this slide. Like you got to be better." Yeah, it's like you don't understand, man. I am actually a person, and I am actually kind of having a bad day, and I have ignored hundreds of negative comments, and this guy came at me, and I just said something back. Now I did not ask my community to go harass him. I did not do anything out of line. All I did was just clap back. And that's because I'm a person, I have these moments of weakness. And another thing they don't see, and I actually had this, is a true story. I can even show screenshots to prove it. I had this interaction yesterday where I posted a video on a cocktail recipe that I was just teaching people how to make a New Year's Eve cocktail, right? Posted on my Facebook page. And I had this guy, and he just came at me for no reason. I posted that video. He just came at me in the comments section. It was like the very first comment that the video even had was this guy who was like, why don't you just keep going? Just go back to continuing to suck Bungie's, you know what? And keep this crap to yourself. You know what I mean? And I actually, this was one of my better moments. And nobody sees these. But one of my better moments, instead of saying anything back, I actually privately messaged the guy. I was like, hey, man, I don't know why you're being such a jerk about this. I've actually been pretty outspoken against Stasis, and I really am kind of struggling with the season as well. But this is just a little side project that just kind of brings me joy. I don't know why you got to be a jerk about it. And I reached out to him privately. And you know what? He responded. He's like, you know what, dude? I don't know why I even said that. I've had a couple of drinks. I was a jerk. He deleted the comment. He apologized to me in private, and we both moved on. And it's like people don't see that. They just see the moments where you clap back.
At the same time, that is so tilting. That is so tilting.
I'm gonna say it when that reminds me of the time you said, "Oh, look at these guys treating their wives good or their women good," and people are like, "Oh, their women? Like you own them like slaves?" I wonder. It's like he obviously didn't mean that. He obviously didn't mean it like that. What are you doing? Like you stop purposely taking everything out of context and just like you obviously know. True Vanguard doesn't own a slave for a wife. Like you obviously know that. Why you got to make a big why you got to be annoying and be toxic and make and go out of your way to cause problems.
Life is always more exciting with a villain, but you don't need to create one from nothing.
But it's always like the hyper fan, because right after I'm just kidding, I love you so much. It's like, well, why would you do that? You put all that negativity out there for no reason. But the funniest thing is, it's like they always say we just gotta have tougher skin. Like I'm just kidding. Like you gotta have tough skin, and it's like the second I say anything back, you're the one crying. Oh
yeah, exactly. Don't send your fans after me. It's like, dude, 3 people replied with clown emojis. That's it. That's the harassment you're getting, and you're already losing your mind.
Come on, man. You guys are bullying me. It's like you just said you wanted my wife to like get SUED. Like, are you kidding me? Oh, it's infuriating, but it's so funny that like Sarah makes a tweet about it, and half the comments are like, "Well, actually, you need to just get tougher." And it's like, "Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me?" Oh, yeah.
Dude, I've been calling people out. I'm gonna do it. If you're an asshole, like I'm gonna roast you, and then there's gonna be a bunch of people who send you gifts of people putting on clown shit. So get ready for that. Like, if you can't handle that, don't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And everyone's always like, well, just don't pay attention to them. You can't. They're in capital letters spamming on every video. Like, you're going to see it. Exactly. You're going to see it. You're going to get fed up.
It's like the only way to not pay attention to it is like to not look at all. Like you got to interact with fans. And I'm often replying or liking tweets of like, most people are perfectly pleasant and they're part of the joke and they're totally fine. But it's like, we know when the people are like, and it's just, again, it's one of those things where it's like, yes, maybe the response from the creator, like Ninja is a perfect example. Maybe he could have done it better. In fact, 100% he could have done it better. But it's no one ever takes the 2 seconds to be like, well, he never would have even had to do this. He never would have been put in this position if that guy in the first place wasn't an asshole to him. Right? Which is from
just
what I
heard
in
the game. And like, he's like, oh, I'm not, it's just a rank game. And so Ninja got mad. He's like, what do you mean it's just a ranked game? He's like, we're all playing ranked. We're trying to win the game. It is a ranked game, and you're not taking it seriously. He's like, you're not playing on a pro team. So he's like, so what do you take seriously? What? Like, you're throwing, and now you're being a jerk about it. And it's like, it's just like, come on, man. Stop being a douche. But
yeah, it is a weird, and it's just the anonymity of the internet lets people just say these random things. And again, like you guys said, you often get people who like take it back right away, or like, I didn't mean it, I was just trolling or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
There was
like,
a
why?
guy who commented on our podcast tonight. Everyone's positive. Every single person's positive. And then one guy makes comments like about our view count. You know, and it's just like, why? Why did you need to do that?
Like the day, like when everyone's with their family the day before like New Year's Eve. Yeah, we don't have like popping off with 2,000 viewers.
Yeah.
Like, no crap.
When there's
You know how
no
many views that
gaming
guy
news.
gets?
Yeah,
You know how many views that guy
zero.
gets?
That guy gets 0 views. Like,
It's why?
We're here. We got like, almost 650 people watching.
That's
it a
dope.
random holiday. It's
That's
fantastic. I think I
dope.
was the only one who even put out a video promoting this podcast today. And it's like, that's fantastic. And we appreciate everyone here. We're not stressing about it, but it's like other people get us stressed about it because it's like, it's like this other podcast has been going for like 3 years in a row, has more viewers than you. Like, what do you like?
You ain't got nothing on
We're on
name of
episode
podcast.
18. We just
Yeah,
started.
exactly. Yeah, wait until Tash gets banned again. Our view count's gonna skyrocket, bro. Just
Or
wait.
Or you know the guys that come in every single time our podcast gets uploaded on YouTube. When are you guys gonna apologize to? It's like
There was one earlier. I think it was
that was
earlier.
on your day.
Never, okay? Because we're right. Like,
And that's the thing is like 600 and what is it? 640 people that are in here right now. That's like a gym, like a high school gym basketball game or more. That's a huge amount of people. How many people can fit in a movie theater?
We love y'all.
We've got movie theaters worth of people sitting here watching our content. That's amazing. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
And we're lucky to have you. We've had some members that have joined and new followers recently. I think last week we were at like just over 15,000 subscribers. We're over 16,000 now. So like we're doing really good, and we've been having a lot of fun with this stuff. And I'm already working on how to get banned next. So like we're gonna get to 20 any day now.
Get banned on Twitch and do the trifecta. Then it's YouTube. Twitter. If you get banned on Twitter, then it's YouTube.
I've already been there, done that, man.
Actually, yeah, True Vanguard took you got banned on Twitter.
I got banned on Twitter.
For
Okay.
what was it, terroristic activities or something?
Yeah, threatening to kill people apparently.
Crazy.
But yeah. So I think what we're gonna do though, I think we're done with the topic. So what we're gonna do, plain and simple, real easy. We're not ending. We're not going nowhere. So you better not go nowhere. Listen, we're gonna switch it into members only chat.
Yep.
So members, feel free. You guys are gonna have the opportunity to ask questions, and we're gonna answer them. Usually, it really just devolves into like the first person to ask a question. We just get really off topic, and then our members like
They
just
feed
egg us
it.
on off topic and don't actually ask any more questions. So that's basically what's gonna happen here. But if you want to become a member, Tash is gonna post a link so you can become a member. Then you can interact. You can be part of this. You're going to get access to all the emotes. We have secured someone to make emotes. We just are coming up with ideas. There is going to be a Rick Kackis shut up emote. We were trying to figure out what that's going to look
He
like
interrupts.
for when I interrupt True Vanguard 40 times per hour. So that's going to be good. You guys can all spam that and tell me to shut up. There should be one of True Vanguard, passing out or something like that. We got some good ones here.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much though. Like even just for following and subscribing and coming to hang out. The average watch time here, almost 12 minutes. That's actually really good average watch time.
That's
for
like a whole
stream.
topic.
Yeah, that's very good. And I know a lot of people, they tune in and watch it live, but they come back later and they check it out. And that's great. So I've got a new member here, Balthazar, with a brand new Real Gamer Hour Gamerage. And then Elijah Bowers, let's go boys, love your content, don't let him drag you down. No, we're good, we're vibing, we're having a good time.
Someone said you need a banned emote for Mtashed. 100%. A banned emote, like that's a good one actually.
For me, like in like a prison.
Oh, we should get it demonetized with how much you
The
guys
demonetized symbol, for whenever we drink and swear, because
swear.
Yeah, I gotta say shout out to the members because you guys are the only reason we're like able to sustain this, because with all the drinking and swearing we do on this podcast, we get demonetized every time.
Every second or third video is demonetized.
Yeah.
Balthazar asks, best TV series you enjoy. I would say there's a few. For me, I would say The Expanse, The Mandalorian, and Black Clover are my top 3 right now.
Oh, still on the Black Clover grind, my man.
They'll release it every Tuesday, man.
Do you want
Black
to know?
Clover?
Do you want to know what was a kind of a surreal
It's an
moment
anime.
in my life?
Oh,
Ben revealed to me that
Yeah.
he likes Naruto.
Oh yeah.
I've never watched Naruto myself, and
You're like, you gonna watch it together?
and I was like, oh, I was like, you've been watching Naruto? He's like, yeah, it's so cool. They just did like ninjas, and they got these different jutsus, and he's going on. I was like, holy cow! And so I was talking to him about like animes, and I think we're gonna watch. I don't know if Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is a little too
old for him?
like a little too old, but even Naruto, like there's some violence in there and stuff,
There's,
but
yeah,
like
visceral stuff in there.
I
Tell
don't
him to
know if it'd
grow
be
up. I'm just kidding.
exactly grow up. But he's turning 11 this year, and so like I don't know if it'd be too bad, but like I think I might watch an anime with my son. I was like, damn, that's gonna be pretty kind of cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So
The
Yeah.
thing I've been watching recently is actually The Queen on Netflix. It's just really interesting. It's just like,
how is that?
Wait, you
'Cause
just
Kat wanted to
shamed me
watch
for
it.
watching anime, and you're like, I'm watching The Queen.
yeah, The Queen, a historical drama, dude. It's called being intelligent. It's called learning your history. Do you even know what the British did in the Suez Canal? No, you have no clue because you're watching a bunch of like anime chicks who look 15 but are 116 years old. So get this crap out of here, dude.
Why is he being so toxic? This is why people pick on you.
Yeah.
I just kidding.
Get some culture.
Is
go ahead.
what's Black Clover on? Because I don't watch a ton of anime.
Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll. Dang it. I was gonna say the one I got really into was, I know it's like the one everyone watches, was Attack on Titan, but they only have one season on Netflix.
Yeah, you gotta watch
Just-
it on like Funimation or something like that.
That's the thing. I need to get like I don't have a lot of options. I don't know what's good either. I kind of want to watch that JoJo one, JoJo's
I
Incredible
haven't
Journey, whatever,
watched it,
'cause
but I've heard
I
good
literally
things.
see
I'm not a
so
huge
many
JoJo fan.
memes from it. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's gotta be
It's
good.
very
There's,
it's
like,
very meme worthy, but I'm
yeah,
not
there's,
huge
like,
into JoJo.
non-stop memes coming from it. Like I gotta know about this. You know what I'm saying?
I really enjoyed One Punch Man because it was just such a troll. Like, the
Oh,
whole-
that's another that One Punch Man.
like the
love that.
punch to the crotch punch.
Dude, that
What?
was
Yeah.
so. I do 100 sit-ups and 100 push-ups every
Yeah.
day.
And I run
Dude,
10
that was-
kilometers. Well,
Dude,
he-
that was
he's
one of the
just
best.
such like a little dink. Like he's so like pathetic looking. But then there's always a part where like he goes to do the punch and it shows him, and he's like this like super powerful thing, and it's such a funny contrast.
Dude, when he
He's
did like
Yeah.
the testing where he like fails the like written exam, we get to see in the written exam, but then he does the physical testing where he's like so far above everyone else.
Yeah.
And he's like,
And it's like, what did you do? And he's like, I did a couple push-ups. Like that's how I got so strong.
Oh man.
Okay,
Yeah, but that-
nobody asked in chat, favorite gift given or received this year.
I gave my son a gaming phone. And so he downloaded Fortnite and was ripping on it, and he was having so
Mhm.
much fun. He was like super pumped up, and I'm getting him a plan so I can text him.
Oh, cool.
He was shocked. Because he wanted a phone, but he didn't even ask. I kept asking, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I knew he wanted a phone because he mentioned it to his mom. He wouldn't tell me. He's like, I don't know, like whatever you get gets me good. And he just wouldn't tell me. I'm like, what do you want?
What do you want? What
he
do you want?
wouldn't
Yeah.
And so when I got him that, he was like shocked. He's like, I can't believe I how did you know? And I was like, omnipresent, bro. Like I know.
Yeah. D mentioned I posted a picture on Twitter yesterday, 2 days ago. My mother-in-law thought she was so funny with a box of tampons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
Did you actually like get you that?
No, it's empty.
Oh,
It's empty. Empty.
You
When
didn't
there
get
wasn't
it.
anything in it.
I'm saying,
I
was
was
there
like-
a gift
I was
in
like,
it?
Oh yeah. She put, like,
Okay,
a
there you
shirt
go.
in
I was
or
like,
something.
damn, savage.
But my favorite gift given would have to be there's a company called EFX. They do movie props and replicas, and they only made or they only commissioned 1,000 replicas of the Mandalorian helmet, Din Djarin's helmet. Right, my wife is a huge Mandalorian and Star Wars geek and fanatic, right? And I got her one of the first 1,000.
No way.
And I got her on that list back in October, actually. So, and it's a 6-month wait list. So I gave her like the picture of it and like the confirmation. She's like, no way. So she's getting an exact replica of the Mandalorian helmet. Not an Etsy version. Like it's legit. It's metal. You can wear it. It's 100% the same. Hand painted, everything
well, that's
down to the
so
finest
sick.
detail.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
We missed a couple questions and a couple members. I'm just gonna read out the members really quickly.
Go for it.
Steven Mendoza with a new membership. Tim Vanderhoff and Marjorell Kelly. Thank you guys so much for becoming real gamers. We also missed a couple questions. So there's the best TV series, but reading any good books? I don't read that much. I'm not a big book guy.
I start out most of my days with a little bit of religious material, and then that's it for reading right now. I'm not deep into any other books right now, personally.
We know he can't read, so let's skip it. And now another good one. Who has the best beard in the Destiny community?
The best beard in the Destiny community. Like for my tastes,
Like, who's the hottest dude? Who's
the hottest dude and the best beard are two completely different things, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Because I can't really grow beard, so. We know it's not that beard. That thing is stinky. That thing is stinky.
I had to pee so bad, dude. So much advanced GG and beer. I couldn't hold it.
I feel like
Teft
had a good beard for a while.
Tefty's got a great beard. I like Amaze's mustache that he's got going on. That's a good look.
It is nice. It is nice. I feel like Glad can just grow like a very like
yeah, Glad's got a great beard. Well, the thing with the Glad is Glad doesn't go with like just let it grow and it is what it is. Like he's clean even when he's growing the beard out. It's framed, it's trimmed.
Yeah.
Just under the jawline, like everything's right about it. Like the man takes the way he looks seriously, and you know you got to respect it.
Yeah, this is just pathetic. It's turning copper. Like this is it. It gets shaved tomorrow. Like that's as far as it goes. And then I abort mission because it just gets worse. You think, oh, just give it some time. The more time you give it, the uglier it gets. The more time you give this, the more likely I am never spending any time with my wife. As soon as I start getting some of this, she's like, you know, I'm really tired. That's what I get. I'm just so tired. You've had 5 days off, okay? Listen.
She says that anyways, Tash. So what's the point? Might as well grow up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Marjorell asked TV, how'd you learn to claw? I don't think I ever heard the story. So I learned to claw actually on accident back when I was in middle school. I was in 6th grade when Halo Combat Evolved came out. I didn't own it, but a friend of mine got an Xbox and Halo Combat Evolved. So I would go over to his house and play at his house. And that original Xbox controller, listen, almost nothing about me is big. I'm big where it counts, but my hands, baby hands, tiny head, everything. But my baby hands could not, little middle school me, I could not reach everything on that controller, that big behemoth of a controller.
Me too.
So I started to claw just because I was like, well, I need to be able to reach these buttons. So I'm going to use my middle finger as my trigger finger. And then I'll just use my pointer finger to hit all the buttons on the front of the controller. So I just did it on accident just because I had baby hands. And then I just never went back. That's how I've always clawed since then.
That's crazy to me. It really ended up hurting my wrist long term. I was the same way though, because I clawed, and it gave me like almost carpal tunnel on my wrist. I think it just obviously depends on multiple factors. I think it depends on sports you play and just like configuration of your body. But I had a lot of problems with it, and so when I did get a scuff back in the day, it changed everything because I could still have that kind of access to the buttons. But I really did have really bad wrists for a while. And as soon as I started using a controller like that, it started to heal. But I know not everyone's like that. You said
I've never had discomfort in my wrist or fingers.
Really hope that PlayStation finally gets its act together and introduces scuff-like control, like an Xbox Elite controller with the you need the paddles, man. You absolutely modern day and age, you need the paddles, and I don't know why they're not selling it with paddles. It would help so much because it just helps with customization. It helps with accessibility. People, who have different, or injuries or something like that, are able to like put certain buttons on the paddles. So I don't know why they don't do it.
Okay, this one.
Player X7.
Yeah.
Is that what you were going to read?
The influential one?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I like that one. So top 3 influential games. So like 3 games that like were your games or like molded you or whatever.
Okay, I'll just go first. Mass Effect, original Mass Effect, played it so much, loved it. Modern Warfare 2, the best multiplayer game of all time, the best Call of Duty of all time, the best score of all time. Anyone that says otherwise, they didn't play it. That's the only fact. That's the only way they're going to say that. And probably, honestly, like Halo 3. like Halo 3 and Forge and custom games, like signing on with your boys and playing like Duck Hunt, playing Tremors, playing Trash Compactor, legendary
But
mode.
like no like older games, like Super Nintendo games. Or
I was
anything
gonna
that's,
say, for me, if it's games that solidified my love for gaming
Well, here's
growing
the
up,
thing.
I'll let you
Before
finish.
before you
Go
do,
ahead.
my funniest story about that, like my dad like forbade video games. He's like, video games are bad, they're trash,
Oh.
what a waste of time. So my first like gaming console was a GameCube. And I had like a couple games on that, and it really started to blow up with like the Xbox and obviously Xbox 360. Who's laughing now, Dad? But anyways,
Okay, before you get to Ryan's though, I'm curious though. Like, did you have Metroid Prime? Did you have Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door?
Me?
Like, yeah. Like what
No,
GameCube
dude,
games? Because like that, I was
I had
at.
Metro, on the GameCube. I had Metroid. It was like okay. I had Call of Duty Big.
What? It
Call of
was
Duty-
okay.
Call of Duty Final or Call of Duty Final Front or something like that. Whatever, like the GameCube version. Love that.
Uh-huh.
And then man, I think I had an original Xbox and had like the Halos. Obviously, those are fantastic. But really, again, it really picked up with like the Xbox 360.
Yeah. And Ryan, what about
Games that solidified my love for gaming early, right? These are not like my top 3 most loved games of all time. Just these are I would say for growing up, the games that influenced my love for gaming would have to be Zelda: Link to the Past. I would say Sonic and Knuckles. I played the crap out of Sonic and Knuckles. I had a Sega Genesis. And then I would probably say to go a step further, Metal Gear Solid later really helped continue my love for gaming as I went into like my college years.
Really? And mine, it's funny because I don't really play turn-based games, but when I was a kid, like that was like all I played. So like Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, Final Fantasy, and like even though honestly, I think I became a better reader because of Final Fantasy. Because if you, everything in that game was reading, fight, magic, items, what items are there, where do I have to go? I had to read so much in that game, and Final Fantasy. Well, I guess it's Final Fantasy 6. It depends where you are. Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 6. I think that is like the best Final Fantasy story in the game, and I wish more people played it. But because it's like old Super Nintendo game, and like I think they've re-released and stuff, but I think people who loved Final Fantasy 7, if they gave Final Fantasy 3 a try, even though it's like a little dated, like it's got the best villain I think in any game I've ever played. I think Kefka is the best villain of any game I've ever played. Better than Sephiroth, better than everyone. He's just like awful. I love him.
Now, what about Commander Shepard from Modern Warfare 2?
Oh, come on, he's trash.
Oh,
bro.
when he shoots Ghost,
trash.
when he shoots Ghost, bro,
Yeah,
you
bro.
can't tell me
I saw that
14-year-old
coming.
you wasn't rattled at that moment, bro. That's when men
I was
cried.
pretty
dude.
pissed.
I was shocked. I was hurt. I couldn't believe it.
I feel like Ocarina of Time too was like
Ocarina of Time was big. Pokemon Red and Blue were big for me.
oh my god. That was one of my first games. I got a Game Boy. That was one of my first games. My brother took it and said, you can play it once I beat it. I didn't get to play my own Game Boy and game until he beat it.
That's savage.
What a savage.
That's sad.
I can't believe that. I still don't let him live it down. I hate that guy. Oh, anyways, I know Ryan, you have a meeting or you have a meeting.
Yeah, I've got
in
something
a bit here,
half
so-
hour.
You got something to do,
You
dude.
got something to do. But that's pretty much it for the RGH podcast. This was fantastic. Thanks for asking so many questions. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, it really helps us.
Yeah, it was
Wait,
a lot
one
of
more
fun.
question before we go. Some random chick that I've never seen before called Miss Cheyenne. I don't know.
Who's that?
She asked, "Who's that?" She asked the question, "Who's gonna pass out first during our virtual games and drinks New Year's Eve
Mtashed.
party for tomorrow?"
Mtashed.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have one sip of alcohol and I'm passing out. We're getting we're setting up some webcams and laptops and we're gonna have like a New Year's Eve like
Jackbox night, basically.
yeah party. We're
Yeah.
gonna play some games and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's
You might
gonna-
have two Palm Bays. It's over. It's
The
done.
girls are the girls in that thread, they're just chatting it up like, yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited too. It'll be fun.
I'm
Maybe
live
so.
streaming it. No, I'm just kidding. You never know what's gonna happen.
I'm not gonna live stream. I will record it, but I'm not gonna live stream.
No, of course. That's for us. Anyways, thank you guys so much.
That's the second channel. It's not on YouTube. It's on a different it's on a different website. I don't know.
It rhymes with corn. Never mind.
Stub.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Every Wednesday night, we do this podcast. We talk about gaming news. We talk about platforms like YouTube and Twitch when there's all sorts of drama. If you guys are looking for a new podcast, make sure to follow, make sure to hit the bell, make sure to subscribe. We are on Spotify. Links are in the description of all our videos. We're on Apple Music, all those different places if you want to just listen to us. Every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is the Real Gamer Hour podcast. I'm Mtashed.
I'm KackisHD.
Vanguard.
And we will see you soon, my friends.
Love you guys.
Well, our friends, but anyway, I'm just cutting it. That's it. We're done. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Turn it off. Turn it